We will start the ceremony portion of tonight in about 5 minutes. Your plates and fork can be thrown away. Please keep the steak knives on the table. So we'll start in about 5 minutes. million. Welcome. My name is John Kesselring, and I'm the elementary principal here at Bishop Garrigan Catholic Schools, and a proud member of the Hall of Fame Committee. I'd like to start tonight by acknowledging all the people who have made tonight possible. If these individuals would please stand when recognized. The Hall of Fame Committee, which is president of Bishop Garrigan Schools, Christy Peterson. Athletic Director, Rob Meister. The Development Director, Allison Rosenmeyer. Girls basketball coach, Brandon Schwab. Teacher and coach at Bishop Garrigan, Brian Patterson. Tom Gilan and Jack Burns. In addition to the Hall of Fame Committee, a special recognition and thank you to Lisa Mueller and Mindy Lichter, who have gone above and beyond for tonight with many behind-the-scenes duties and tasks. I cannot thank them enough, as well as the committee members, for all the hours they've poured into this historical night. When I presented the idea to President Peterson, I had been working with Mindy Lichter for quite some time on the vision for this. And if you know Mindy, everything she does is immaculate work. With the vision in mind, I took my idea to Mrs. Peterson, and of course she was behind this. Like any good salesman, I did not tell her the price tag that came along with tonight's event, nor did I tell her the work that I needed for her to do. Once we got past that, that's how we ended up here. The conversation started about 18 months ago between myself and Brian Patterson on how we can honor the rich athletic tradition here at Bishop Garrigan. When we dug into the data, the statistics were staggering about the overwhelming success Bishop Garrigan has had over the last 65 years. I could go on with numbers. There's a tremendous amount of data on the amount of success that we've had here, but I will give you one. There have been 98 state or individual state champions or runner-ups in our history, which means we are crowning a champion or a runner-up every year, and many times, multiple times a year, across many athletic events. That is an unprecedented amount of success, and Bishop Garrigan has not only become a regional brand that is synonymous with success, it is known statewide in every corner. When you see the Golden Bears on your schedule in any athletic event, you're going to have to be at your best. When working through this, a common phrase was uttered by our committee. It's time. It's time to honor everyone who has done so much for us. It's time to honor our rich tradition. It's time to get our alumni back on campus. And it's time to celebrate with family. It is an honor to be here tonight with some of the greatest athletes and coaches in Bishop Garrigan history. And it's now time to honor each of you. I invite President Peterson to the stage to start us off with a prayer.
I would also like to take a moment to thank Mr. Greg Allers for helping with our technology and sound, as well as our Bishop Garrigan football cheerleaders, just a couple of them, who came to help serve the meal. Always appreciate the volunteerism that our kids are willing to offer at events like this. I also want to thank Father Zach Jones. He is our chaplain here at Garrigan. We have been blessed to have a chaplain the last couple of years. When I asked him to write this prayer for tonight, he was eager to do so, and we appreciate him being here with our students most days. So let us begin with prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day, for our bountiful gifts and blessings, especially for the gift of Bishop Garrigan Catholic Schools. And we ask for your continued blessing on our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and benefactors. As we come today to recognize those who achieved excellence in athletics, we also recall that we all strive in a similar way for holiness, virtue, and God's grace. And we remember that we strive not only for a crown in this life, but for in the life to come, eternal happiness with you in heaven. As these athletes are inducted into this Hall of Fame, we call upon the communion of saints, those in the hallowed halls of eternal glory, to intercede and guide us to glory. Mother Mary, Our Lady of Grace, and Our Lady of Victory, watch over us and draw us closer to your Son, Jesus. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And I do have to mention that there was supposed to be air conditioning in Friedmann tonight, and that's not a joke. We have the air conditioner has been set to be in since spring. We missed the graduation mark. The ductwork is delayed in coming. So I had hoped that you'd be sitting in the leisure of air conditioning, but I think for some of you, at least for me, this brings back great memories of sitting in this gym, playing volleyball in the fall, and varsity volleyball in the fall, just sweating. So hopefully this will just help with the nostalgia of the evening, and you can enjoy sweating in this place that it all started.
At this time, we will have the presenter come up. Presenter will come up. When they are done, we will invite the Hall of Fame inductee onto the stage to accept their award from Mrs. Peterson. They are welcome to address the crowd if they would have anything to say at that time as well. So it is my honor to introduce our first presenter this evening, which will be Christy Peterson, who will be inducting the late Paul Syler. Accepting the award on behalf of Paul will be his sister, Karen Fogarty.
Paul was a member of the class of 1963, laid a major foundation for Bishop Garrigan football program with his outstanding efforts. Playing for head coach Beanie Cooper, Syler was a two-way player, lining up at tackle on offense and linebacker in defense. He was known as a heavy hitter for the Golden Bears and was described as a force who could move anyone around that played against him. During his time at Garrigan, he earned athletic letters in both football and track. After graduating, Paul attended the University of Notre Dame, where he earned All-American honors for his stellar play as an offensive tackle. During the 1966 season, Paul helped lead the Fighting Irish to a national championship. Following his college career, Paul entered the NFL draft in 1967. He was selected 12th overall in the first round by the New York Jets. As a professional, Paul played for both the New York Jets and the Oakland Raiders. Known for his steady presence on the field, he made the difficult decision to step away from football in 1968 to serve in the military. He returned to the game and went on to play in a total of 59 professional football games before retiring. Tonight we honor Paul Syler.
It is my honor to introduce our next presenter for this evening, John Bartolo, who will be inducting the late Gene Meister. Accepting the award on behalf of Gene will be Gene's grandchildren.
A couple things before I get started. Bear with me, I am a very emotional man. And I just hope to keep this under 20 minutes here, trying to get done here. They never told me a time limit, so, but I am truly honored to introduce the next member to the first class of Bishop Garrigan Hall of Fame. I've known Gene for over 45 years. Gene and Marianne, we became friends. I used to officiate a lot of high school sports. And Gene would always hire me up at Bancroft St. John's. We'd always have great conversations before, after, and even after games when he thought I missed a call, he would come out and challenge, but Gene always said, shake your sandals and move on. And the next day, just like nothing ever happened. Gene treated Sheila and I and my family like we were part of his family. He was a very kind person. He was my friend. He was just a great mentor to me. I'm sorry. He just did everything for my family and myself. You knew he was a kind person because, you know, he always took care of Coach P. And for all you guys that know Coach P, he was a true baseball fan, and Gene was always there with Coach P. Gene was like a brother to me. He was very much a father figure to me. Always helped me out in every situation that I would come up with and didn't know how to handle. He taught me so many things about coaching and life and my faith. After a while, Gene and I would every once in a while come to school early in the mornings, and we would just sit in his room and pray and drink coffee and then just talk about our family. I was privileged enough to coach with Gene for many years. I coached baseball and basketball with Gene here at Bishop Garrigan. Gene received many coaching awards throughout his coaching tenure. Gene won many conference and district titles in baseball. Gene also led 11 different teams to the state tournament, winning state twice. He was named CYO Coach of the Year many times, District Coach of the Year several times, and State Coach of the Year 3 times. He served as president of the Iowa Baseball Coaches Association and was inducted into the Iowa Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame in 1996. Gene coached Bishop Garrigan to state runner-up in 1999, along with taking the 2012 baseball team, Bishop Garrigan team, to state. The 1999 team finished runner-up and set many national records that year. Gene overall coaching record is 976 wins, 425 losses, which ranks Gene 6th in the state of Iowa and 30 nationwide. Gene taught his players much more than the game of baseball. He taught them so many life lessons. I contacted a few his past players and just asked them to give me some things they remember about Gene. One of them told me, he said, Gene respected his players, which in turn, his players respected him. Gene was very black and white in his decisions, which made the players respect him and want to play for him. He practiced what he preached. Another player said that he learned how to dry out the baseball field when we had rain. Just go uptown and get plenty of gas and light it on fire. But I don't think we can do that nowadays. Another one of his players said that Gene taught him how to be a man, how to be a good father, and how to be a good Catholic man. Gene would always throw batting practice, and at the end of everyone's turn at bat, he would throw underhand. No one was able to hit his underhand pitching. Some of Gene's favorite quotes that a lot of the players would always come up afterwards and ask me, what does Coach mean by this? And I says, I don't know, but I'm not going to ask. He would say, oh, Mother Magdalene, please help this player. Otherwise, a lot of other things he would say was, quit being a lily of the valley. Or one of his ones he used a lot was, quit being a Casper milquetoast. Or he'd call a young man, you're just a grizzlehead. But everybody loved him. And I am honored to be the one up here to present him into the Hall of Fame.
Our next presenter this evening will be Ron Patterson, who will be inducting Reanetta Syler.
I have to move this up because Mr. Wadley and Mr. Bartolo are a little shorter than me. It's my great honor to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee, Reanetta Syler. First, I want to start with a quick little story. When Netta was an 8th grader, I was coaching girls softball, and we were having a good season. Things are going great. We're down at Humboldt, big game. We're behind 3-1, top of the 7th. We get bases loaded, 2 outs. So I'm talking to whatever girl's on third base, explaining what to do here and there, wild pitch or pass ball. And I look up, and Netta's walking to first base. I look around and look in the Humboldt dugout. Ron Wasp is coach. He just goes like that. But he deliberately walked her in and made it 3-2. And then our next girl popped up, and we lost. But that's a lot of respect for any athlete, especially an 8th grader, to purposely walk in the run. So Wasp had a big smile, and that's about the only time he's ever right in his career. But that's in here. So softball was just the beginning of a long and successful career at Bishop Garrigan. Despite the facts that if you look on your placemats, you're not going to see a shot put, a discus, or a hammer. But track and field is a sport. I just wanted to point that out for those that are slighted. I could do that for you. So Netta continued with softball and volleyball, winning multiple honors in those 2 sports. However, as I said, in the area of track and field where Netta excelled. While at Garrigan, she won 4 individual state championships, 3 in the shot put and 1 in the discus. In 1994, Netta was the discus champion at the Drake Relays and was named the most outstanding female athlete of the entire Drake Relays, all levels. A very, very prestigious award, which hangs out in the hallway here. She followed her junior year by winning both the shot put and the discus at the relays. But high school was just the beginning of Netta's athletic career. Netta continued her career at Kansas State University, where she earned All-American honors 6 times. She also qualified for the NCAA championship 7 times, and she was also a 7-time Big 12 conference champion. But now we're going to move up a level. In 1997, she represented the United States as a finalist in the hammer throw at the World University Games. In 1998, Netta returned to the Drake Relays, this time as a collegiate athlete, and again took another championship, this in the hammer throw. She graduated from K-State with school records in the hammer throw and the weight throw. And in 2010, Netta was inducted into the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. Her accomplishments then continued in her coaching career as she coached several national championships. In her first year at Miami, I'm not talking Miami of Ohio, I'm talking the Miami Hurricanes, the one that plays Notre Dame this Saturday. It's a big school if you haven't heard of the Hurricanes here. She coached there, and she had several championships there. In her first year at Miami, the team won the first ever conference championship due largely to the fact that their throwers scored twice as many points as they have ever in the past. Head coach Amy Dean states she has great enthusiasm and is a great role model. She has really given her athletes the opportunity to succeed, and that's a high compliment. Then while at BV, University of Netta had 1 national champion, 4 All-Americans, 20 All-Conference performers, and her teams broke 25 records during her tenure. And then during her 2 seasons at Western Illinois, Netta had coached the throwers to 2 individual conference titles and 7 All-Summit League selections. And now her success in coaching continues on here as she's part of the Garrigan family and has again produced multiple state individual champions in track and field. So let's circle back to the beginning here, her 8th grade year, the beginning of her illustrious career. I'd like to think that maybe my coaching her in 8th grade was the start of this career. But, while on the subject of humility and my lack of it, this is what I'm getting to. I can never, ever remember a time being around Netta and Netta mentioning to anyone about all the awards I just mentioned. Never heard her talk about them to anybody. In fact, when Netta was coaching at BV, Mr. Allers had a poster in his back room on the refrigerator, and it was K-State, the big poster, and Netta was very prominent on there, and all her accomplishments are on there. So I took the poster to BV, indoor track meet, and showed the athletes, and they had no idea. They had no idea that Netta had accomplished all these things. And it's not her to tell about things like that. So Netta is also a Hall of Famer as a person, as well as being a devoted family person. She supports her family in all kinds of endeavors. Speaking of family members and support, I can safely say that her dad was the biggest supporter. And if you go by volume of his voice, he was unmatched. Maybe Katie, but I don't know. Yeah, I always knew when Dave got to a game. Sometime the door would open, he'd put one foot out, and he'd start yelling at the umpire. And that's a true story also, too. Once again, it's my honor to introduce to you Reanetta Syler.
I will not take 20 minutes like Bartolo there. So I'm emotional too. Sorry. I love being a mayor. I love being back here. love my family. I love the support that I've gotten being a Bear. Like, I get support all the time. I loved hearing my name. My sister, I mean, I think she enjoyed hearing my name more than I did. I'm like, okay, they don't need to announce it every time, and she loved hearing that, and I just want to make everybody proud. I want to make my dad proud. I want to make my family proud. I want to make my school proud, my coaches proud. That, I mean, the work they put in for me and the time they put in for me, that I made something of that. So, I mean, I just hope that I made them proud, and I continue to do that, and now I come back, and I want to give back, and I just love making champions, and I love kids, and I mean, I see some of my athletes here back, and they're coaching now, and it's awesome. I mean, there's nothing better than being part of a great big family and encouraging kids to give back and come back and compete, and I just want to say thank you, and I love seeing everybody here, and so thanks for the award, and I love you guys all. So.
Our next presenter tonight will be current athletic director Rob Meister, who will be inducting Brad Nelson.
Well, to follow suit, I'm kind of emotional too, so you never know where this is going to end up. So, yeah, there we go. So, John, thank you very much. Well done. It is my honor and privilege to induct Brad Nelson, class of 2001, to the first ever Bishop Garrigan Hall of Fame. I'm honored to do this in place of my dad, Brad's longtime coach, for most of Brad's high school career. If you were around Bishop Garrigan baseball program from 1997 to 2000, then you know the special bond that they shared. My first real interaction with Brad was in the summer of 1995. Brad was going to try out for this team out of the Iowa Great Lakes. I think I have that relatively correct. And his dad, Doug, had got a hold of my dad and wondered if he could come to the 7th and 8th grade practice of the team that I was coaching at the time. I had no idea who he was, what his story was, situation, except what my dad had told me. And boy, was I about to find out. I think he did come to multiple practices that same week, so I got to see this more than once. He could field and throw well above average, and you could see he clearly knew the game when we did our situations at the end of a typical practice. Our next part of practice was a batting practice setup with me throwing from about 40 feet away with an L screen behind an L screen for kids just to work on their swings. Well, we were about to get the most impressive thing I have ever witnessed a 6th grader do. I just remember he took swings from the left side, hit balls off the fence. And by the way, you're going to take swings from the right side and do the same damn thing. Sorry. Okay? I came home to Dad and I said, where the heck has this kid been? Where is he? What's going on? This kid could play on our varsity right now. I was a 21-year-old college player, and not that I'm ever anybody's bar, but he was a better hitter than me as a 21-year-old, and he was a 12-year-old. My bar is not Brad Nelson, so don't for a second. I mean, he was probably better as a 4th grader than I was. It was still unbelievable for me to be a part of it. Unfortunately, I was not here to watch his 8th, 9th, and 10th grade historic seasons, but I got to live them through Mark and our dad. However, I did move back in time to coach him his last year in our program in 2000. I've never experienced a student athlete, regardless of sport, work as hard as Brad did. And with all the successes, his humility grew right along with it. True to form what Ron said about Reanetta, I can speak volumes of what I knew about Brad and what my dad had said about Brad and what his teammates would say. And over a 15-year minor league career, what his teammates would say. My dad's plan had been to bring Brad along pretty slow. Finally gave him a chance to pitch hit in a big game against Andy Jansen, North Kossuth. Brad proceeds to double to right center, and from there, all he did was set the school record for batting average as an 8th grader at 485. Brad's high school career was nothing short of historic. I'm going to read through the numbers here a little bit. Ranking 5th in Iowa history with 47 career home runs and setting numerous school records. Of course, Brad was also a phenomenal basketball player. So as we induct Brad, his success in both sports speak volumes. On the basketball court, Brad was equally dominant, scoring a school record 62 points. And whenever we tell that story and people say, well, yeah, it was a lot of overtimes, I'm not interested in that. He put up 62 points. Some people don't score 62 points in a practice through the whole season. He was a two-time All-State selection in basketball, remains one of the most complete players we've had in our school's history. Here's a list of Brad's accomplishments by the numbers. Ranks 5th in Iowa history in career home runs with 47. Ranked number 1 in the state of Iowa, 3rd nationally in 1999 for RBIs in the season with a ridiculous number of 91. Ranked number 1 in the state of Iowa, 3rd nationally in 1999 with hits in a season with another ridiculous number of 83. Ranked number 2 in the state of Iowa, 5th nationally in 1999 home runs in a season with 27. Part of multiple conference championships, 97, 98, 99, district championships, 98, 99, state runner-up, of course, in 1999, Coach Bartolo referenced earlier. School record holder, career batting average, 551. Batting average for a season of 600. Career RBIs with 210. Season RBIs 91. Career hits 215. Season hits 83. Doubles in a season 23. Home runs in a career 47. Already mentioned the home runs in a season 27. Pitching wins in a season 14. Strikeouts in a season as a pitcher 158. Basketball career. School record holder, as I said, 62 in a game. But he also knew how to pass. 401 career assists, number 1. 213 career steals. 3-point shots in a game, 9. Should have been 10, but I think he made one of those shots with his foot out of bounds. That's true. That was in Clarion, okay? I was coaching with John at the time. John remembers that story probably. Shot a shot from 30 feet away before Steph Curry was Steph Curry. 3-point shots in a season with 85. 3-point shots in a career with 249. Career points, 1,882. 4th in rebounds, 567. 3rd in points per game average for a season, 26.1. Brad's talent, of course, took him to the professional level where he was drafted in the 4th round by the Milwaukee Brewers in 2001 and made his major league debut in 2008. We would not have enough time for me to stand up here and read through all of Brad's minor league accomplishments individually and as a team. He made the Brewers postseason roster that year in 2008 and turned around and made their opening day roster in 2009 and played professional baseball until his retirement in 2015. Brad also played for the Seattle Mariners, Texas Rangers, Chicago Cubs, and Minnesota Twins. Proud to say we were able to see Brad play in many different places, including Milwaukee, Mesa, and Des Moines. His journey through multiple major league organizations is a testament to his work ethic, skill, and determination. Brad, welcome to the Bishop Garrigan Hall of Fame.
Thank you all for coming out. I made Jill drive so I could work on a little thing for her speech and everything. So first off, congratulations to everybody else here that has made it. The committee, I know Garrigan has a rich history, we've said this, of student athletes. So a lot to pick from, and I'm honored to be up here to be chosen in the first induction. I will say, it's been 20 plus years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago. I know everybody always says that, but it's like 20 plus years, it went really quick. I remember, sweating in the gym just as much and everything in here. So, again, it's an honor. I appreciate it and proud of it. I'm not great with stories and different things like that. I I'm proud of my accomplishments, but I'm also proud. I hope that I did it the right way. I tell my kids, don't tell me, show me. You know, like just go out there. You can just go out and show me what you can do. That'd be a lot better. I felt at least I tried to live by that example. There was a lot of hard work, a lot of people to thank for all that hard work. Honestly, that's what I feel most proud about, and my most enjoyment was the practicing with my teammates, with my friends, with my family, with my dad, with, you know, fill in the blank. I really feel like that was my most enjoyment of just the practice of, and then get rewarded, you know, later on, but the practice of was my most proud of it. Thankful, I'll say this word a lot, thankful for all being here, thankful for all my coaches. I don't, you know, not specifically, thank you all. Coach Meister, it's a double honor to be here tonight to honor him on the first induction of having him up here, Coach Meister, what he meant. Give me a chance. You don't have all those stats without getting to play early on in your career, but with baseball and basketball, you know, I got to play early on. So, Meister family, Rob, thank you very much. It's an honor, again, to be up here the same night with Coach Meister. My teammates, grateful for them all. Again, that's the fun part. We always say it's a game. You play it, you have fun. I enjoyed it. That's all of my memories, is all the practice with my teammates. The school, community, traveled all around, played in many games. There was always somebody coming up, you know, wishing me luck and cheer me on, or say, hey, I know this person, you know. It's amazing of, you know, I believe when you mentioned it early on, Algona Garrigan, when you say, hey, where are you from? Oh, they know where Algona Garrigan is. And I'm proud to everybody that has accomplished it, to put it, you know, on the map, and then currently, and then future, everybody. Aunts, uncles, in-laws, friends, thank you. I'll make it, Dad. I grew up on a farm. I'm not a farm kid, if anybody knows and everything. Any free time we had, it was in a cage. It was shooting. It was in the gym. It was, I didn't get burnt out. You know, he's like, oh, you don't want to get burnt out. No, I was like, please, let's go out. I enjoyed it, so thank you very much. Mom, school teacher, you know, here. We had a living room with one of those little type basketball hoops. I could be dribbling around shooting it, it'd hit her, and she'd keep on grading papers and everything. You know, like just, it's just a sports family all around. My sister, we had a batting cage in the backyard. You always need somebody to feed the machine and everything. We really worked. It helps out by having somebody there all the time to do that with. Always a good story. It's like, when you're a pitcher, you need somebody to step in the batter's box. Just don't hit me. Of course I hit her. You know, it's like when you don't think about it, so I always apologize for that, with stepping up there and do that. Jill, now, she continued to love and support from high school on for the non-career, after high school, ended in the sports career. Adeline, Bo, Aubrey, they're the young little ones running around here. Definitely proud that they came back. Now that I'm coaching, it kind of proves that I know what I'm talking about to them, show them and different things that this is, you know, maybe you want to try this hitting or shooting or whatever. So thank you for being here. And then thank you again, one more time, everybody here. Congratulations, everybody that's here. Congratulations to the future inductees. It is an honor and a privilege, so thank you much.
Our next presenter this evening will be Nicole Mueller, who will be inducting her father, Jack Mueller.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Nicole Mueller. It's truly an honor to stand here tonight to introduce someone I've looked up to my entire life, my dad. I'm also emotional, Jack Mueller. Being inducted into Garrigan's Hall of Fame is no small thing. It means your achievements stood the test of time, your hard work left a mark, and your story became part of the school's legacy. Tonight is about celebrating excellence, legacy, and impact, all words that describe my father's time here at Bishop Garrigan, especially on the football field. As a player, he was known for his relentless work ethic, his total commitment to his team, and his willingness to do whatever it took to help those around him succeed. He didn't care about the spotlight. He cared about the scoreboard, the locker room, and the guy next to him. But what makes this moment even more meaningful to me is that those same qualities, the hard work, loyalty, humility, and heart, they didn't stop when that final whistle blew. At home, in our family, and in the community, my dad has always been the same man he was on the field, dependable, selfless, and always ready to help. Whether it was being a Boy Scout leader, coaching my brother, volunteering at my school for junior achievement, and teaching us how to do an assembly line, making round trips, drives in one day from Iowa City to Minneapolis to take me to school, leading the foundation and organizing the fundraisers at Regina, or just simply being there for others. He's the kind of person who shows up, listens, and lifts people up. And maybe one of his greatest gifts is that he can talk to anyone from any walk of life and make them feel heard and valued. And that's a rare trait and one I deeply admire. So tonight, I'm not just proud to introduce a Bishop Garrigan Hall of Fame football player, I'm proud to introduce a Hall of Fame father, mentor, and human being. Please help me welcome my dad, Jack Mueller.
How can you not love her? My life changed immensely 43 years ago when we were able to bring Nicole into our life. Congratulations to everybody that has been inducted already and those future first-timers. It's a real honor in my situation to be recognized for this inaugural class. The accolades aren't measured just on the football field, but they're measured by the aspect of I've been blessed to have 3 families. Tonight, thank God, I have a large segment of my immediate family, the Mueller family. The second family that I inherited was basically this family here at Garrigan. Anybody who's been through a Catholic education understands there's something special about Catholic education. Something special about the people, and it's infectious on the aspect of how they all rally together. When I played here, I had success, but I was surrounded by teammates that literally had the same particular goal. I participated in all the sports. Only after I graduated and left home and realized how smart my parents were, they really just knew that since I was participating in sports, they didn't have to worry about where I was at or who I was with, because those people in all team sports are winners. Now, I did have to drive by Ames, Iowa, where there is a college there to go to school. And in particular, My brother was going to introduce me tonight because he's been my mentor, and everybody should have a big brother that pushes you to excellence. But unfortunately, I had an emergency that came up and he couldn't do so. But in essence, the number one reason why I didn't go to Iowa State is because this is a Hawkeye state, and in particular, he was going to go to Iowa State, and I no longer wanted to be referred to as Dick's little brother. Now, at the same time, I have to honestly admit that I was far better athletically than he was. The fact that I was an all-pro or all Big Ten 2 years in a row, All-American bowl game, then was drafted and played with the Green Bay Packers in 1973, to only go to rookie camp and tear my ACL. At 1973, they didn't repair him and went into a permanent injured reserve list. Okay? They called me for a couple years in a row, wanting to know if I was going to come back, which is obviously not the case. But thank God I received a wonderful degree in business from the University of Iowa. I went into business right then and there and remained in business for the last 55 years in Iowa City. But in essence, I talked about a family. What occurred was I got involved in the Catholic community in Iowa City. The fact that I maybe went to grade school and went to Mass every day for how many years before I graduated Garrigan probably had a lot to do with the impetus that when I got down there, there were five churches in Iowa City, all within 1 mile. Well, it seemed logical after all these years of preparation that I continued to go to church. And then I got hooked up with Regina. And the first thing that I did was I got involved in a capital campaign to build a new elementary in Iowa City in 1985 that made Regina a K through 12. Kind of ring a bell? Yeah. 1985. I then literally got involved in, just like anything else, it's a family. It is a family of people interested in one thing. The aspect of practicing Catholicism with the aspect of understanding who your kid's going to hang out with. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people that have some colorful past, but at the same time, you always knew that if they were within their Catholic community, that they were with the right people doing the right things all the time. Now, I've led capital campaigns while at Regina, literally from being a school board president to on the Board of Education to on the foundation and leading capital campaigns for the last 50 years. In fact, thank God I took Latin at Garrigan because in essence I finally realized that Regina is just a Latin word for fundraiser. So I have been deeply involved, and one thing that I continually say, the 3 families that I have, and I have a large group of my family here, and thank you very much for being in attendance. It shows a phenomenal level of support. I always will have Garrigan in my heart. Always will have Garrigan in my heart. And in fact, when my mother finally passed away 10 years ago, I was instrumental in the aspect of trying to establish a scholarship fund at Garrigan that we've contributed to on a regular basis. And the good news is that I'm really blessed to know that we still have some Muellers passing through the organization, even though I can't cater towards them for any financial assistance. And now to the aspect of now where I'm a very active part on the aspect of Regina. I've had enormous success. I addressed the team tonight, and one of the questions one of the players asked after a bunch of different questions was, do I have anything that I regret? You know, it caught me at kind of a ponder, and then I thought, and I said, no, I really don't have anything. Now, are there some things that I possibly could have done differently? Yes. But in essence, I've basically been blessed with 3 wonderful families. Again, congratulations to everybody else, but I'm also extremely humbled on the aspect of recognizing my achievements here at Garrigan. Thank you very much.
Our next presenter this evening will be Shanna Wonder, who will be inducting her father, Tom Freighic.
I was very proud and honored when my dad asked me to present for him tonight, but then he followed it up with, well, Gina probably wouldn't do it, neither would OJ. Angie will be too pregnant to come back, so I guess that leaves you. So here I am. And I'm very happy to be in this gym because my siblings and I were very lucky to grow up here. We came to basketball practice and ran around. Angie mostly dribbled. I played back in the theater room with the costumes. But we got to run the halls when Fro was working in his classroom. And we got to ride the bus to every single away game. So, as a student, Tom attended Bishop Garrigan High School from 1966 through 1970. Tom's athletic career started at Bishop Garrigan High School when Beanie Cooper inserted a 125-pound sophomore quarterback into the Emmitsburg game at halftime, and Tom threw for 3 touchdowns to lead BGHS to a stunning 27-0 victory. Tom went on to become the first quarterback to throw for 1,000 yards in a season. He was also a prolific runner, holding the longest run in GHS history for many years with a 92-yard run on homecoming in 1969 against St. Edmunds. He was the leading scorer on the Garrigan basketball team his junior and senior seasons. He held the single-season scoring record for many years until the three-point shot came into effect. Tom comes from a long line of high-scoring Freighics, which include his brothers Oscar, Lee, Jim, Bill, his son OJ, and daughter Angie. In Garrigan baseball, he started all 4 seasons with a high batting average, and in his senior season, he was undefeated as a pitcher with a perfect 10-0 record. In Garrigan track, Tom was a high jumper and a long jumper. Tom was all-state mention in football, basketball, baseball his senior season at Garrigan, and he was also a first-team selection in basketball and football for the Catholic Diocese of Sioux City. From 1970 to 74, Tom went on to play 3 sports at Peru State College in Nebraska. His freshman year, he was the starting defensive back, punt returner, kickoff returner, field goal holder, and the starting quarterback the last half of the season. In his junior year, he was starting quarterback, throwing over 1,000 yards. At Peru, he was starting guard on the conference championship basketball team his junior year. In baseball at Peru, he finished his college career as Peru State's #1 pitcher in baseball. Throughout college, he maintained a 3.75 GPA and graduated with honors. After college in '74, Tom took his first job at Bishop Garrigan Gilan in Sioux City as a biology teacher. At Gilan, he was the defensive coach in football under his old Bishop Garrigan coach, Beanie Cooper, freshman sophomore boys basketball coach, and head track coach. He was a defensive coach for 2 state championship football teams, one at Sioux City Gilan in '75 and the other at Bishop Garrigan in '85. Tom started at Bishop Garrigan in 1976, teaching biology, assistant football coach, assistant boys varsity basketball coach, and head track coach. Tom was the Bishop Garrigan defensive coordinator for nearly 2 decades. He was awarded Assistant Coach of the Year in '85, and his defensive players still hold several records after 30 years. Tom was the head basketball coach for 15 seasons at Bishop Garrigan with 8 district championships and leading the way for the first ever Bishop Garrigan team to the state tournament in '92. He also helped in leading the girls basketball team to the state tournament in 2000. During that time, his team defeated many of the state powers, such as Sioux City Gilan, Hull Western Christian, Mason City High, Carroll Kemper, St. Ed's, and best of all, many victories over crosstown rivalry Algona High. He was the CYO Basketball Coach of the Year in 1993 and developed many first-team All-State players, including his son OJ and daughter Angie. Tom was also the head golf and track coach for many years. In 1999, his golf team placed second at the state tournament, and Tom was awarded the CYO Golf Coach of the Year. In track, every year he always had many state track participants. His team still holds several school track records that have stood for 40 seasons. Tom also found time to teach biology and earth science for 29 years while at Garrigan. He was awarded the Isaac Walton Science Teacher of the Year in 2004. Many of his biology students went on to professional careers in the medical field. He is always proud to say that his personal doctor right now is a former player and student. Help me welcome my dad, Fro.
There's no way I could speak. What's crazy is I've been watching Garrigan sports since 1959. So I've seen just about all the unbelievable athletes that have gone through here. And I can't believe how many players and stuff that are here tonight that I've had. Brad Nelson, 8th grade. Mark Albert's over here. He was on my 85 state championship team. Molly Gilan was on my very first girls basketball team. And we still remember the time when we beat Elgin High girls by 20 points and they were favored. We love that. All my kids played sports. This is crazy. I played football with Jack Mueller. I got a little story about him later. You know, this is crazy. And I know I'm missing some. Matt Muller's here. He was on my state basketball team. So I know and Scott Winkle was on my football team my first year as the defensive coordinator. So I know I'm missing some other ones, but a lot of, just about everybody's connected to me one way or the other. So I'd like to thank, again, the committee, all my family that's here. Thanks to Shanna for getting through the presentation. I know she was looking forward to that. I'd like to thank Randy Studers here. He was one of my teammates in basketball. And thankful to him, he always passed me the ball. He was smart enough to not shoot it and pass it to me instead. So you got to give him credit for that. Special thanks to my beautiful wife, Linda, who's not here. It's kind of crazy, but she'd never missed a beat. I knew this was going to happen. Poor Granny never missed a beat. She was at every game. And it's a real honor just to be mentioned with some of you people here when you think of what Brad Nelson has done and Reanetta Syler, and Jim Gilan is absolutely the biggest icon here at Garrigan for what they did in the early years. My dad was a part of that too as well. So you had mentioned the same sentence with guys like Jack Mueller. It's crazy. A real quick story about Jim Gilan. And I always think about this. He always played golf with my brother Don. And one time Don hit the ball 2 or 3 feet from the hole. And he said to Jim, and my friends would give me that. Well, Jim Gilan says, well, why don't you go play with your damn friends then? Jack Mueller, I can remember my first year when I was quarterback, and I was just a sophomore, and I never got to play with the first team during practice, but a couple of weeks into the season, Beanie Cooper finally let me go in and quarterback the first team at practice. My very first handoff. I remember this like yesterday. I'm sure Jack does not remember it, but I handed off to Jack Mueller. I put the ball in his belly. He put his arm down around me and drug me into the line. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Beanie Cooper came out and said, Tom, the next time just slam that ball into his stomach and get the hell out of the way. Jack was 6'3", 225. I was barely 125 pounds. So that's kind of crazy. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for that. I don't know where else to go with this, but it's an honor to be here. And my days at Garrigan, like Jack was saying, being in a Catholic school all those years was unbelievable. And I'm greatly thankful for that. Thank you.
It is my honor to introduce our next presenter tonight, John Gilan, who will be inducting his father, Jim Gilan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Gilan, one of the 6 Gilan children. Tonight, I have the great honor to introduce my father, Jim Gilan, as the new inductee into the Bishop Garrigan Hall of Fame. This evening is not about statistics or win-losses. It's a celebration of spirit and a lifetime of Jim's service to young people in our Bishop Garrigan community. When Bishop Garrigan opened its doors in 1959, 5 parishes came together to offer a Catholic high school. Father Frank Conway asked my dad, just as he finished his 5th year teaching at St. Cecilia Academy, to help build Garrigan. Dad became the school's first athletic director, head baseball coach, and assistant varsity coach. But those first years were not easy because there were no established rivalries. Dad literally drove in his car within a 100-mile radius searching for teams willing to play the new Golden Bears. He set up games in southern Minnesota and as far west as Sioux Falls, South Dakota, just so our students could compete. On one of those visits, though, he asked an athletic director asked him, "Why don't you play with your own kind?" He didn't flinch. He shook his hand, thanked him, and moved on to the next school. He was determined to prove that Bishop Garrigan belonged on the field with anyone, and he did just that. One of my favorite family stories from the early years comes from a trip Dad took to Canada with my mother Ellie, Father Conway, and his father. While they were fishing, they came across a black bear, which we all can see up in the corner. Dad, the ever-adventurer, ended up shooting the bear. That bear did not just become a trophy, it became part of the school's history. In their early 60s, I remember our family walked into Garrigan to see that bear mounted proudly in the hallways, watching over the students as the Golden Bear mascot. For the Gilan kids, seeing that bear in the school was proof that Dad had helped bring the mascot to life. It reminded us the traditions we celebrate today often begin with simple acts of dedication and a little bit of wild spirit. Decades later, that bear continued to be part of our student life in ways Dad probably never imagined. At a football rally, pep rally in 1976 in this gymnasium, I glanced up to the corner looking at that bear, and there it was, dressed for the occasion. Sunglasses perched on its snout, a hat tilted on its head, and believe it or not, a cigarette hanging from its mouth. Principal Mike Stentz, a man we all treated with a healthy dose of respect, was not amused. And despite his efforts, the culprit was never found. For years, this perpetrator remained a mystery, but tonight, I can finally reveal the mystery of the student. Will Scott Winkle please stand up? By the time Dad left Garrigan in 1962 to pursue a career in insurance, the foundation of the athletic programs were firmly in place. The fields were laid out, schedules were set, and expectations were clear. Those early teams, the young men who played for Dad, carried his lessons forward in serving many others in countless ways. Beyond school, Dad continued to serve his community. He served on boards, gave graciously to his parish financially, and served as a Eucharistic minister. He and my mother raised us with the same values instilled in his players: faith, hard work, and community of service. When it came to the Gilan's Children's Garrigan events, Mom made sure they were both sitting in the bleachers, cheering us on, never missing an event, home or away. It's also very important to note tonight's recognition not only honors Jim, but also honors his wife, our mother, Ellie Gilan, for being aside along with him and supporting Dad in every step of the way. Thank you, Mom. On behalf of our family, I would like to thank Bishop Garrigan School for remembering those early years and the people who helped build this institution. I know Dad is humbled by this recognition and proud to be a Golden Bear. In truth, however, his vision and dedication gave the school an athletic tradition we celebrate today. Dad, we are so proud of you. Your work 65 years ago helped lay the foundation of the Golden Bear tradition, and your example continues to inspire us. Congratulations on your induction to the Bishop Garrigan Hall of Fame, and thank you all for celebrating this special moment with our family.
Our final presenter for this evening will be Jack Burns, who will be inducting the 1975 State Championship golf team.
I think this might have been better if we could have gone first, guys. There's some pretty big shoes to fill here, but we'll do our best. First, I'd like to, thank the committee for putting this on. I think it's well past its time, and I'd also like to recognize Jim Gilan. I'm very proud that he's on here. He deserves it in many ways. But I'm just going to kind of start a little bit here, and one thing people don't realize, because we had quite a dynasty here for a while, started by these guys, and had it not been for these guys and winning the first one, there's no way we would have won near as many as we did. It just kind of spread like wildfire. Golf became something all the young kids wanted to do. These guys were very helpful, with the younger guys to try to help them out the best they can. And I think people overlook that sometimes. Once the tradition starts, it's got to continue. And these guys set that up better than almost anybody could hope. I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here tonight because about 95% of the things I'd like to say, I can't say. So we'll do the best we can. I'm going to start with Steve Winkle. Steve, are you here? Oh, he didn't make it. Okay. Steve was the only senior on the team, and he was a very integral part of the team. Steve was a very accomplished golfer. He played in the SEC for Ole Miss, and he had a very successful career there and won many tournaments in the area. He was a very competitive guy, kind of a hothead. I'm not going to lie to you, but he was a tremendous competitor, and he always said he was the unluckiest golfer in the world.
You know what I mean? And he always used to say that no matter who he plays against, they get the luckiest they've ever been. But that's not true. Steve was plenty lucky himself. So, but one of the most fun things with Steve was watching him and Bill Mansky compete. Those guys, they'd rather die than lose to each other, and they did it every day. You know what I mean? And it was a lot of fun. So Steve was kind of the leader of the team. You know, we didn't have captains, but Steve kind of followed everybody followed Steve a little bit. You know, and the second guy I'd like to acknowledge is Tom Gilan. You know, golfers are kind of funny in the fact that they always like to tell people, well, I never play, I never practice, and, you know, then, you know, I guess they don't have any excuses when they play poorly. But I think it might have been true with Tom. I don't think he ever did play. He was just good enough to show up on the golf course and beat just about everybody. Tom was a two-time All-American in college. He was the Iowa Conference champion in 1980 and the runner-up in 1981. And you could always count on Tom to be there. You didn't even have to worry about it. His score was always going to be there, and it was always going to be low. The next guy that I'd like to mention is Ron Lichtag. He was kind of our token Wesley guy, you know. So he came from Wesley, and his mom and dad ran the Brick Country Club through the years, and that's back when the Brick Country Club was quite a place. And Ron was the superintendent, but Ron was very instrumental in not only the, you know, team and how he's always consistently scoring well, but, you know, if there was such a thing on this team, and I'm not so sure there was, you know, Ron was kind of the voice of reason a little bit, you know, as much as there was anyway. And, you know, so he kind of kept, he enjoyed most of it, but sometimes the boys get out of line and Ron would have to reel them back in a little bit. One testament to that is, I remember back in, I think it might have been the next year, but we played a football game down in Walk On. We came into the game 8-0, they were 0-8. And we were pretty highly ranked. And before the game, my good friend Scott Winkle showed up on the stage. The other team was warming up, getting loose. Scott came out on stage in his jockstrap, and only his jockstrap, flexing his muscles, telling the team how the evening was going to go. So, and you know, and I, you know, we ended up losing the game, obviously. But I think we woke a sleeping bear or a sleeping giant up that night. But you know, a lot of people kind of were upset with Scott after that, and you know, I don't think that's right. I mean, it's been a half a century ago, but I don't think that was right. Ron was supposed to be our voice of reason. You know, Ron was doing something he shouldn't have been doing, like taping his ankles or something stupid. I mean, like that really helped Tom or Ron. I mean, my God, your knees were so bad, no tape was going to help it. But he was taping his legs, and he let Scott go out there and do that when you should have stopped him. So, you know, after all these years, I'm just going to tell you, in my opinion, Ron Lichtag cost us that game. But, I mean, that's just kind of my take on the whole thing. But, and Scott, you know, Scott was one of a kind. You know what I mean? I'm sure with the heat in here tonight, that's not really Scott's wheelhouse. You know, he's definitely probably sweating pretty good back there. But Scott was an absolutely tremendous running back. He was unbelievable, and he would not lift a weight. but he was so good that, you know, it was just a principle of him. He wouldn't lift the weight. You know, and I'm not sure, somebody, he could have played for you if he wouldn't lift the weights, but because I know you stand on principles, I think you would have found a way to get the man on the field somehow. You'd have come up with something, but he was just a tremendous football player. And Scott, as I recall, is the only individual state champion in golf that Garrigan's ever had. And he used to, this won't mean a lot to some people, but Scott played American irons. You know, nobody ever played American irons. I mean, those things were so prehistoric, but they worked for him. And finally, I want to talk about Greg Winkle. Greg was an extremely unbelievable golfer. I mean, in my opinion, of all the people that ever played golf at Garrigan, nobody has the resume Greg does. He was, he was, in my opinion, the best ever. He played for the University of Iowa for 4 years. He was probably on one of the best golf teams for 4 years that Garrigan ever had, or Iowa ever had. He had Dave Rummels on the team, who played on the Pro Tour for 10 years or so. You had Gene Elliott, who last year was the reigning U.S. Senior Open champion and U.S. British Open champion, and many others. And Greg was right there with those guys. And he started all 4 years for Iowa, which is very difficult to do. He, you know, you've never played around the golf until you played with Greg. You know, it's just, it's a lot of fun. And Greg won the Iowa Amateur. He won the Iowa Masters, the Fort Dodge Amateur, and probably about 100 other tournaments. You know, and Greg always coined the phrase, because we always used to make fun of him, because, you know, we'd be out there playing and Greg would be, he's just so stupid, but Greg would be out there chipping and putting all day, you know, while we were playing. So we used to make fun of him all the time. And they just beat our brains in every week. So I don't know if there's a correlation there or not. But it was a great time. And those guys, I mean, they were never serious until they had to be. It was one of those things where they never really worried about beating the other team. They knew that was going to happen, but they were more concerned about beating each other during the tournaments and see who was the little guy on the team. And that's, you know, it's amazing. But I don't know how many we won in a row. How many was it? You know, 7, 8, 6. I don't know. I think it was 6 in a row. I mean, that's unheard of. And at the time, we were 3A school. You know what I mean? So, you know, we were pretty proud of that, and the tradition carried on. And Algona was pretty much known at the time as a golf town. You know, Algona High was just as good. You know what I mean? And you know, one year Garrigan got first, and Algona High got second by, I think, six strokes behind, and the other teams were way behind. You know what I mean? So it was pretty impressive. And but I'd like to congratulate these guys. I admire everything they've done, and they deserve every honor that they get.
exactly what I said I wasn't going to do tonight, but I do want to congratulate all the other inductees. And where are all these Scott Winkle stories coming from? I don't quite get it. John Gilan, I would like to say that story in particular is, of course, true, as all the others are. Just imagine the ones that haven't been told here tonight. So I'll leave it at that. A big thanks for me, my family, our team. It's a great honor. Thank you.
For all the Hall of Fame inductees tonight, you are welcome to join us tomorrow night on Conway Field to be honored at halftime of our home football game. With a few minutes left in the second quarter, we ask that all Hall of Fame members meet at the South Gate, where Athletic Director Rob Meister and basketball coach Brandon Schwab will be waiting for you. If anybody here who is in town for the long weekend would like a tour on Friday, please contact the office, and Mrs. Peterson, as well as some of the Hall of Fame committee members, will be around to give tours. A lot has changed here in the last 65 years. Thank you for a wonderful and historic night. Congratulations to all inductees. Go Bears. Would all the inductees please work their way to the stage? Let's take a group photo before everybody goes.